Triumph has seen a lot of success with its 400cc motorcycles. The Speed and the Scrambler, they are doing really well in the Indian market. And today we have the latest 400cc model from Triumph, the Thruxton 400. Yes, this is an end to all these speculations, all these spy shots. This is the actual cafe racer in the flesh, and we will be riding it soon. Quite excited to ride the Triumph Thruxton 400. We are here at Bajaj's plant in Akudi, Pune. We'll be heading out for a quick ride. But before that, let me quickly tell you about the details of the motorcycle, so as to say the design and the engine. Alright, so let's talk about the design of the Thruxton 400. Yes, it's a modern day interpretation of a cafe racer, and the design is obviously inspired by the Thruxton 1200, which is discontinued now sadly, but it was one of the most good looking motorcycles that I've ever ridden, and this follows in the same footsteps. Now you'll see this nice cafe racer like fairing here. It has nice clean lines and it has some edges. It's not entirely rounded like the Thruxton 1200, and if you see at the expanse of the side profile of the motorcycle, you see that it has those nice clean modern classic lines, right? And at the rear, the subframe is new. It is not the same as the Speed 400. The load bearing capacity is the same, and you also get this body colored bump stop or cowl for the rear seat, which is of course removable should you want to add a pillion rider with you, right? But this is the motorcycle that is best enjoyed when you ride it solo. Apart from that, you have the Thruxton 400 badging right here. The engine stays the same as the Speed 400. There are a few updates there as well. We'll come to that in a bit. And if you were to talk about the front suspension, then unlike the Speed 400, this is done in black and that's done in gold colored forks, right? Overall, the design of the fuel tank also, it slightly changes. These recesses that you see here is slightly bigger so that you can grip the motorcycle better when you're cornering and when you're riding at high speeds, right? So that's all about the design of the Thruxton 400. The other design highlight on the Thruxton 400 is the Monza style fuel filler cap, which adds to the classic look of the motorcycle. The bike continues to get the same set of features as the Speed and the Scrambler 400X, which includes dual channel ABS, switchable traction control and a USB port along with the same part LCD part analog instrument console. At first glance, the fit and finish seem to be good, at par with the rest of its siblings in the lineup, which continues to be the benchmark in the segment. So it's the same 398cc TR series single cylinder liquid cooled engine on the Thruxton 400, but few differences here and there. The motor now makes 2 horsepower more, so the total power output is 42 horsepower compared to the 40 horsepower on the Speed 400. The torque stays the same at 37.5 Newton meters. And why those 2 extra horsepower? Let me tell you. So in the earlier days, in the 60s and the 70s, well, the cafe racers had the standard of hitting the 100 miles per hour mark, which is equivalent of 161 kilometers per hour. And Triumph wanted this motorcycle to touch that top speed, which is by 2 extra horsepower, and Triumph claims that the top speed on this motorcycle is 160 kilometers per hour. The 0 to 100 is done in 6.7 seconds, which is 1 second less than that of the Speed 400. So yes, it's quicker than the Speed 400, and yes, the engine, it gets a few revisions because the valve springs have been changed, the cam timing, it is revised, and that's how you get those extra 2 horsepower, right? So yes, I've told you all about the engine, I've told you about the design. Now it's time for me to ride the motorcycle. So let's get going. So we spent a couple of hours riding the Thruxton 400 in the city of Pune, and most of our riding unfortunately was in traffic. Nonetheless, few observations that we made were the engine feels significantly peppier in terms of performance, in terms of outright acceleration, in terms of how the response to the throttle inputs are, right? So it feels quite peppy, it feels sporty, it feels engaging, and overall this motorcycle is a hoot to ride. So the mid-range and the top end is very strong, quite enjoyable, and that's courtesy of the increased rev range on the engine, right? So yes, quite enjoyed riding the motorcycle. The 6-speed gearbox, as usual, It's quite smooth, the gears slot in very nicely, and the slip and assist clutch keep all that power in check when you're like aggressively downshifting, so there's no wheel hopping, right? So in terms of performance, yeah, quite like this motorcycle. And if you were to talk about the ride and handling of the Thruxton 400, well, the handling is better than that of the Speed 400 because the rake is sharper, right? And of course the wheelbase is slightly shorter by 2 or 3 mm, not a big difference, but it has that point and shoot characteristic of how a cafe racer should handle. So it feels agile and it's easy to filter through traffic when you're riding in the city. The ride quality on the Thruxton 400, it is slightly stiffer, but that is expected on a motorcycle of this kind, right? So it's not a deal breaker, could have been slightly softer, but I'm not complaining. Big potholes, big undulations, you have to be careful, you have to reduce the speed, take it gently, and the bike will do well. And if you just like blaze through all the undulations and potholes, you're going to feel all the jerks on your spine, right? Alright, so let me quickly talk to you about the ergonomics of the Thruxton 400. Well, the handlebar is different than that of the Speed 400. It's a clip-on handlebar and it is low, and you do have to, bend forward and ride. It is a sporty riding position, and Triumph says that the riding triangle is somewhere between that of the Royal Enfield Continental GT650 and the Yamaha R15. So yes, it is committed, and if you were to use this motorcycle as your daily ride, then you will have to be fit because you will spend a lot of time hunkered forward, right? And the foot pegs are rear set, so you have that nice sporty riding position. The motorcycle weighs in around 183 kg, 4 kg heavier than the Speed 400, and the seat height is 795 mm, so it's accessible. So I'm 5 foot 8 inches and I can plant my feet very firmly on the ground, so that's not going to be a problem. But yes, it is a sporty riding position, so you will have a lot of pressure on your arms and on your shoulders if you have to ride this motorcycle in traffic for long distances. If you're riding it freely on the highway, then it's not going to be a problem. But if you're constantly changing gears and in traffic wearing a riding gear, then it's going to be uncomfortable. The Thruxton 400 is priced at 2,74,000 rupees ex-showroom, which is about 24,000 more than the Speed 400 and about 20,000 less than the Scrambler 400 XC. Its nearest rival is the Royal Enfield Continental GT650, whose prices start at 3,26,000 rupees and go up to 3,52,000 rupees. Alright, it's time for the final say on the Triumph Thruxton 400. Well, it's a beautiful motorcycle, looks drop dead gorgeous, has oodles of road presence, particularly in this shade of yellow. I absolutely love it. The engine on the motorcycle, really nice, punchy, peppy, and it eggs you to ride harder and faster. Yes, there is one flaw, which is that the riding position is quite committed and you have to be really fit to ride this motorcycle for a long duration, right? But then that's how cafe racers are. That's a characteristic, that's a trait of a cafe racer motorcycle, and for the price, I think it really delivers. If you're looking to add a gorgeous motorcycle in your garage, and if you want to just hop from one cafe to the other on the weekends, if you want something that can double up as a weekend ride and something that you can ride daily, well then the Triumph Thruxton 400 should definitely be in your consideration list. What are your thoughts on this lovely motorcycle? Do let us know in the comments below, and if you liked this video, please do give us a thumbs up and please do share this video with your family and friends. Till then, take care, ride safe. My name is Kingshuk and I'll see you in the next video from NDTV Auto very soon.